Hello everybody, and welcome back to another David Peters deep dive video. Today I will be talking about the clade that David Peters has, known as Scandentia, and not much I want to say in this intro, so let's get into it. When I was about halfway through writing this video, Peters decided to completely rearrange the rodent section of the LRT, which this will be focused on. But this clade, Scandentia, he places it as the ancestors of Placentalia 3, which contains multituberculates, Apatemiidae, and rodents, and descended from the marsupial herbivores. He also appears to not call the clade Scandentia anymore, but this is what he called it when I first started this video, so that's what I'm calling it now. He splits it into two clades within it, Ignaciidae and Tupaiidae. I, in this video, will also be including a small clade of the only non-multituberculate placental 3s, which is Daubentoneidae. Ignaciidae is the most facile family of Scandentians. When I named it after the first ever genus in the clade named, which is Ignacius. The first member of Ignaciidae is Polchophatia delgadoi, which in reality was a polchophatid multituberculate, and multituberculate is an order of rodent-like early mammals, but unlike what Peters claims, they're not related to rodents, and is from the Camarigian of Portugal, possibly lasting into the early Cretaceous in Spain. He places it as a member of Ignaciidae, and he doesn't make any odd claims about its physiology, other than he claims that many of the creatures featured in Scandentia have eye-like hands. The next Ignaciid is Nyctomomes doryini, which was a microcyopid plesiodapiform, with plesiodapiforms being a order of basal primates or primate relatives whose position in relation to primates is disputed. From the Paleogene of Montana, Wyoming, and New Mexico, and Peters places it within the Ignaciidae, but again he makes no odd claims about its anatomy. Another member of this family is Carpolestes xnigridens, which was in reality a carpolested plesiodapiform from the late Pleistocene, 61 to 55 million years ago, of North America, and he of course places it in Ignaciidae, and it's another one that he doesn't make any really odd claims about. The final Ignaciid is Ignacius frugivorus itself, which was in reality a Phenecolemurine paramomiid, which was a family of plesiodapiforms, from the mid-Paleocene to late Eocene, 61 to 33 million years ago, of the US and Canada. Peters obviously places it as an Ignaciid, and also as the sister to Carpolestes, and yet again he doesn't make any strange claims about its physiology. Next up is Tupaiidae, which is the more derived family of true Scandentians, and is once again named after the first named member of the clade, Tupaia, which this is just something I will do in my future videos. The first Tupaiid is Plesiodapus tricuspidens, which was in reality a plesiodapid plesiodapoid from the late Paleocene to early Eocene, 59 to 55 million years ago, of Europe and North America. Peters places it as the most basal member of Tupaiidae, and he reconstructs it as more robust and cat-like than it was in reality. The next Tupaiid is Henkeletherium guimaroti, which was in reality a trialestid, which is a clade of early Therians, which is the clade that contains both marsupials and placentals, from the late Jurassic Camarigian of Portugal, and Peters places it as a close relative of Plesiodapus, but he does not make that many strange claims about it, other than giving it a very strangely flat head. The next Tupaiid is Trugosus castoridens, which was a Trogocene esthonchid Telodont, which were an order of large herbivorous mammals, possibly ungulates, with rodent-like heads, from the early to mid-Eocene, 54 to 33 million years ago, of Wyoming, California, and British Columbia. Peters places it on a more basal branch of Tupaiidae. He claims it was a giant tree shrew, but I'm unsure if that means he was claiming it was arboreal, which it most certainly wasn't in reality. The next Tupaiid is Telodon fodiens, which in reality was a Trogocene esthonchid from the Eocene, 50 to 46 million years ago, of Wyoming. Peters places it as sister taxon to Trugosus, which it actually was in reality. He also claims it was a giant tree shrew, but other than this does not make that many odd claims about it. Next up is Radinskia upingi, which was in reality either a basal ungulate or a very close relative of the ungulates from the Paleocene, approximately 50 to 57 million years ago, of China. Peters places it as the most basal member of the more derived branch of Tupaiidae, but up until incredibly recently, like that big reshuffle thing that he did, it was placed as a basal sea cow by him. The next Tupaiid is Microcyops annectens, which was a microcyopine plesiadapiform from the early to mid-Eocene, approximately 50 to 40 million years ago, of the United States in reality. He places it as a more basal member of the more derived clade of Tupaiidae, but Peters makes no other strange claims about it. Yet another member of Tupaiidae is Paleocathon nascimienti, which was in reality a paleocathonid plesiadapiform from the late Paleocene, 63 to 56 million years ago, of the US. Peters places it as a more basal member of the derived clade of Tupaiidae, and he also claims it was arboreal and had a prehensile tail, but I'm unsure if it actually had these characteristics in reality. Yet another Tupaiid is Purgatorus oneo, which in reality was a Purgatoriid plesiadapiform from the earliest Paleocene, 66 to 63 million years ago, of the United States. Peters places it in the more derived Tupaiidae branch, and he yet again makes no strange claims about this one. The next Tupaiid is Protungulatum donii, which was in reality a protungulated panungulate from the latest Cretaceous to earliest Paleocene, 70 to 63 million years ago, of North America. Peters claims it is a member of the derived branch of Tupaiidae, but does not make any strange claims about the physiology. The penultimate Tupaiid is Tilocircus lowii, more commonly known as the pen-tailed tree shrew. It is a Tilocircid Scandentian, or tree shrew, from the Southeast Asia, and the genus dates back to the early Oligocene. He places it on the more derived branch of Tupaiidae as sister to Tupaia itself. He makes no odd claims about it, which is good because he would have to be actually delusional to make odd claims about an extant creature. The final Tupaiid is of course Tupaia itself, which is a genus containing most extant tree shrews. In reality, it belongs to the family Tupaiidae, which is completely different to Peters' version of the family, which I named confusingly, and is known from much of Southeast Asia, the Indian subcontinent, China, and the Philippines. The genus dates back to the Miocene. Peters places it as the most derived member of his version of Tupaiidae, and therefore the most derived member of his version of Scandentia as well. And he claims it dated back to the Jurassic, despite acknowledging that the fossil records do not go back that far. They actually go back further than he claims, approximately 10 million years rather than his claim 3 million years. Other than that, his claims are not unusual. Although not technically within Scandentia, they are incredibly close relatives, and there wasn't really any other way they could be split up and it made sense for them to put them in here, so therefore I'll be covering Daubentoneae in here. And Daubentoneae is, on the LRT, a family of basal placental threes, ancestral to multituberculates and to rodents. There are only two members of Daubentoneae, the first one being Daubentonia madagascarensis itself, which is more commonly known as the ii. It is a Daubentoneid lemur known from parts of Madagascar, and its ancestors branched off from other lemurs during the Paleogene. In the LRT it is the most basal Daubentoneid, but anyway, Peters doesn't make any strange claims about it physiologically, given it is still an extant creature. The second Daubentoneid, and therefore the final creature in this video, is Megaconus mammaliacornis, which in reality was an Alatherian theriiform, a group of basal mammals, from the mid-Jurassic, approximately 165 million years ago, of Inner Mongolia. Peters places it as the sister taxon to Daubentonia. He makes no other strange claims about it, other than the fact that he gives it long eye-like fingers. And that was Scandentia. Well, I guess it's just the intro now, so if you've enjoyed this video, leave a like, check out the next one, which will be out. Probably the next video I do will be the next Peters video, which will be about reptiles. And just always remember, Rule 9. Goodbye.